Blue Jays are back at Rogers Center after a tough road trip, but they're coming off a series win against the New York Yankees. They took 2 of 3 against the Bronx Bombers in New York. John Farrell's ball club has gone through a tough stretch offensively. Same can be said for Joe Maddon's Tampa Bay Rays, although they have a great record in the month of August because they've got the best pitching staff in baseball. 71-59 at this point of the season. Jennings, Upton, and Zobrist top of the order. Evan Longoria, since his return from the DL, has hit just .253, but he's hit 5 home runs, and he has given the lineup a presence of having a difference maker in the middle of the order. Joyce, Keppinger, Scott, Luke Scott making a second start at first base. Jose Lobaton, switch hitter, is the catcher, and Sam Fold is in right field.
You know, one of the things that Joe Maddon can work with now with Evan Longoria in the lineup, he can push everybody back down. And he can have guys in some RBI situations with a little less pressure on him now that the big man, Evan Longoria, is in the middle of that lineup now to stabilize his offense.
Well, Longoria is such a big bat in that order, and he's such a big clutch hitter. He didn't have to get many hits to make a difference in a ball game, and just having him back makes everybody in that lineup better. When you look at Tampa Bay for the month, they're 17-9. And they have been terrific from the mound. Their ERA as a team is .227, a full run better than anybody else in the American League. This is the wild card standing as we speak. Oakland continues to roll. They have been the biggest surprise in baseball. Oakland Athletics are right there with the Orioles. They both won this afternoon. Tampa Bay a half game back, then the Tigers and the Angels, and the Angels have not played well in August.
And I think the Rays were something like 9.5 games out last year at this time, and they rolled right to the playoffs. Carlos Villanueva, 6-4 with a .330 earned run average for Villanueva. He has not won since July the 27th versus Detroit. 4 straight losses in his decisions, but he has competed. He has given John Farrell some innings when he has taken the mound. He has averaged 6 innings pitched out of his 10 starts this year, and he has competed on that mound. He's got some good stuff. He's got a lot of options and a lot of weapons that he can use to try and get you out. So Villanueva will make his 11th start here tonight.
One thing the defense has to their advantage tonight, the fact that Villanueva will hit his spots with the pitches. That helps the D. Davis, Rasmus, Sierra in the outfield. You know, Escobar, Kelly Johnson up the middle. Adeiny Echeverria makes his 13th start at third base. And Edwin Encarnacion's at first, and Jeff Mathis making his 49th start.
You have to be good up the middle on defense if you want to have any chance of winning games. And the Blue Jays yesterday showed some good defense. First of all, Colby Rasmus in center field taking away a hit from Ichiro Suzuki, very determined on that play, coming in and making a big grab late into that ball game. And then Jeff Mathis, I thought he did an outstanding job in that 8th inning when they really had to navigate that pitching staff in that bullpen through the 8th inning. I thought he did a wonderful job helping Lyon get that big out against Chavez.
Back-to-back doubles for the Yankees to start that inning, and then they really settled down and closed out the inning. So we are set 1st to 4 against Tampa Bay. Blue Jays trying to become a spoiler in this pennant race down the stretch. They're going to have a lot of games against these postseason hopefuls. First pitch of the ball game has popped up center of the infield. Edwin Encarnacion calls for it, and Escobar comes over and makes the catch. 1 down.
Take a look at the scouting report tonight for Carlos Villanueva, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. His fastball is about 91, 92 miles an hour, and he can spot it in all 4 quadrants of the strike zone. His changeup is very good. He throws it with great deception off of that fastball. Strikeout pitches, the slider, he uses that 22% of the time, that slider. Batters are hitting just 170 off of that slider this season from Villanueva.
B.J. Upton takes the first pitch strike. Upton has been hot. 16 extra base hits this month. He is 3 for 9 in his head-to-head matchups against Carlos Villanueva. Villanueva with a little hesitation right there, trying to mess with the timing. That's important against B.J. Upton, who utilizes that big exaggerated leg kick.
And the timing's got to be almost perfect for him to get it all together. A lot of moving parts in his swing, so a change of tempo is not a bad idea by Carlos Villanueva.
Ball is hit high into left field. Rajay Davis backing up a few steps. It'll stay in the yard. Upton's out, 2 down. So Villanueva, he really navigated his way very easily through the Rays lineup the last time he faced him back on the 8th of August. It was the 3rd inning when they scored 3 runs. They sent 8 men to the plate in that inning. Ben Zobrist, he has taken over every day at shortstop, and that has really seemed to spark the offense.
Yeah, he's been hot too. He's been getting a lot of line drives and putting up some very good at bats. So Joe Madden has him in the 3rd hole tonight.
7-game hit streak, batting .400 during that stretch. By Zobrist going back to shortstop and playing there, the Rays can get an extra bat in the lineup at second. Ryan Roberts or Jeff Keppinger can alternate there at second base, and that seems to give them a little more offense.
That is something that has really plagued them this month. Their offense, if they've gotten any kind of offense, it would have been a record-setting month, I think, for the Tampa Bay Rays. But they've had to scratch and claw for every run they've scored.
There's a strike. They've lost 3, no, they lost 4 1-0 games. 2 on the road, 2 at home. Joe Madden said it's been a real scramble trying to score runs, so he's pleased to have Zobrist take over at shortstop. It's a high changeup. Zobrist will take a 2-out walk.
And those 4 1-0 games are not this season. This month. But that's the last 22 games this month that they have lost 4 1-0 games.
2 of those were in extra innings. 2 10-inning losses, 1-0. David Price, he's the guy that keeps this team loose on the bench when he's not pitching. He's a terrific cheerleader, and he is really involved in every pitch of the ball game. Evan Longoria takes a strike. Mentioned Longoria out with that serious hamstring injury. Got off to a great start. Hit the ball very well in April. Was driving in runs, averaged well over 300, and you can see now he has slipped. They mentioned hitting just over 250 since his return from the disabled list.
But those home runs are starting to come off his bat again. In a multi-homer game last night in Texas. And he doesn't have to pull the ball to hit it out of the ballpark.
Zobrist, a good lead. He's got 13 steals this year. Longoria, 12 of his last 15 home runs have come with runners on base. Against the Blue Jays, he's hit them hard. Obviously, most of that damage came early in the season, but a home run and 8 RBIs. Villanueva ahead 1-2.
If he can drop that changeup like that, and he's thrown 1 to each one of the batters here tonight. If he can drop that changeup there on those right-handers and use that slider, he's going to be tough. Again, his fastball isn't overpowering, but he's got to be able to use it all over the strike zone.
1-2, 2 outs. Pop down the right side, and that'll get back in the seats. We mentioned Longoria's bat is starting to come around. This is a good example of it. What did he get his Rangers in last night's game?
Ball down, and he just golfs it out into center field. And another one to center field. He doesn't have to pull it down the line. He doesn't have to go the other way. He can hit it out of any part of the ballpark. His first multi-home run game this season.
The Rays are a base-stealing ball club. They have 112 stolen bases this year, but they're not running very successfully. Getting caught a lot more than usual. Just off the outside corner. Their success rate in stolen base is just over 71%. The American League average is 74%, and you'd like to see the average up over 75%.
Yes. Yeah, that's where you want to be if you want to be known as a speed team. And they've got some guys who can run. Jennings and Upton, Fold. Zobrist, you mentioned his 13 stolen bases.
Two balls, two strikes. There goes Zobrist. Pitches up and away. Throw to second is right on the money. Again, the Rays lose another base runner. Jeff Mathis throws a strike to second. Kelly Johnson tags out Ben Zobrist. We'll go to the bottom of the first, top of the order. Rajay Davis, Colby Erasmus, Edwin Encarnacion will take on Matt Moore and the Rays. He's 12-8 in yesterday's game. Bats are starting to come around. Yunel Escobar had the biggest impact on that game yesterday. 4 extra base hits. He's got a 7-game hit streak. 357 over that stretch. 10 for 28. 5 doubles, a home run, and 6 RBIs. Top of the order, Rajay Davis, Colby Erasmus, Edwin Encarnacion, Lynn's the DH. Then Escobar, Johnson, and Sear. Jeff Mathis behind the plate, making his 49th start. Danny Echeverria has a 5-game hit streak.
Another young phenom pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays will take the start tonight. 10-7. Matt Moore just turned 23 this past June. You see the great numbers that he has picked up. His 9th win of the season, that came against Toronto back on August the 9th. 6 innings. He gave up just 1 earned run and 2 hits to the Blue Jays. He has been on a nice little roll lately. And his 145 strikeouts ranked 2nd among big league rookies this year to Texas's Yu Darvish. He's got a good fastball.
Rajay Davis sees that good fastball on the first pitch. 95 to start the game. Get used to that, folks. This young man can bring it. Davis fights it off, and Matt Moore quickly hit 0-2. Blue Jays saw Matt Moore down in St. Petersburg, and they had him on the ropes early in the ballgame. It took him 47 pitches to get through 2 innings. But then he settled down, and he was just 52 the rest of the way. He pitched 4 more innings, and he retired the last 15 Jays he faced.
And that has put him on a nice little roll from that time, and the whole thing is about fastball command for Matt Moore.
There's a hard breaking ball down and in. Moore is really racking up the strikeouts to the tune of 8.7 per 9 innings. Davis pulls it outside of third. Evan Longoria making just his 28th start at third base. Missed 85 games with that hamstring injury. Two balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 call. Fastball on the inside corner at 96. Take a look at the defense behind Matt Moore. This has not been a typical Rays defensive year. They've committed 94 errors. All the Baltimore Orioles have made more. Jennings, Upton, and Fuld in the outfield. Ben Zobrist is making his 17th start at shortstop. Jeff Keppinger at second. Longoria and Scott at the corners, and Jose Lobaton, a switch hitter, is behind the plate.
Joe Madden trying to find a combination that works, and he has talked about rotating now Luke Scott at first base. He's making just his second start at first base. He's going to rotate it with Carlos Pena and Jeff Keppinger at first base, trying to find the hot hand for this ball club.
Colby Erasmus, little tapper out toward the mound. Moore will shovel the first. 2 quick outs.
Matt Moore makes his way back to the mound. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the young left-hander of the Tampa Bay Rays. He will use that fastball, and it's 95. He can add and subtract with it. You see him reach back for a little bit more when he struck out Rajay Davis. He is starting to find his control in the month of August. Just 2.6 walks per 9 inning, which is the best of his young career this month so far. He'll use that slider. He'll use it for the strikeout pitch.
Edwin Encarnacion tonight at first base. There's a high changeup. It's upstairs. Comes right back with it and finds the strike zone. Ball on the strike.
Early in this year, the fastball was really eluding Matt Moore, and that was his problem. Did not get off to a great start, but he has found his way.
One thing we have seen with these Tampa Bay pitchers, the rookies that come up, they're pretty polished. We saw Matt Moore throw 3 straight changeups to Edwin Encarnacion in this at bat.
They do a great job of really honing the skills of their young draft picks. This is a player that was drafted in the 8th round in June of 2007 and spent that time in the minor leagues really honing his craft. And when he's ready, that's when the Rays were going to bring up those young pitchers.
And that hard breaking ball that's in the dirt.
He has shown that he is ready to pitch a full season in the big leagues.
Tampa Bay is going to use 6 starters this time through the rotation. Encarnacion takes a 2-out walk. You could see that Matt Moore didn't want too much to do with Encarnacion throughout that entire at-bat.
A couple of change-ups to lead off that at-bat, and then tried to throw one 3-2. So you're right, he wasn't going to give anything sweet to hit to Encarnacion.
Lynn has never faced Matt Moore, and plus the fact he's a left-hand batter, I think Moore just wouldn't challenge Edwin at all. Missed with that first pitch. Lind went 2 for 4 in a game yesterday in New York. Scored a run, drove in a run, had a walk and a strikeout. On a road trip, 4 for 13. Interesting splits for Matt Moore, and it's pretty much the way every pitcher works. If he's ahead in the count, batters are hitting 128. If he's even or behind, that average jumps to 311.
Isn't that interesting? That's why that 1-1 pitch is so important.
There's a base hit to left field. Jennings has good speed. He cuts it off, and Encarnacion was stopped by that cutoff. Went right to the cutoff man. That'll bring the red-hot Yunel Escobar to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on.
What a day he had yesterday for the Blue Jays. First doubling down the left field line and then hitting a big home run against CC Sabathia and home run after he tried to bunt a couple of times. He came back with another double and then a fluke double. That got some big insurance runs for the Blue Jays in the ninth inning. An afternoon where he had 3 doubles and a home run.
First time a Blue Jays shortstop has ever had 4 extra base hits in one game. He had a big day and a career high tying 5 RBIs.
There was one other Blue Jay who had 4 extra base hits and 5 RBIs in a game at Yankee Stadium. That happened in their first year, 1977, when Roy Howell did it. Impressive. You know, Escobar matching that.
It's a big day no matter when it occurs. Here Matt Moore is behind. This is not that dissimilar from his last start against the Blue Jays. We mentioned he threw 47 pitches in the first 2 innings, and it took him a while to get zeroed in.
And a walk and a double in that first inning before finally closing the door. Now he falls behind and gave up a leadoff single in the second inning.
Did you give him the green light here?
I'd give him the green light, sure.
Coming off that great game yesterday afternoon.
You got a left-hander on the mound. He's just looking to throw a strike. Let it go.
Not close. A 4-pitch walk, and that'll load the bases.
A very quick strikeout to Davis, and then a tap out by Colby Rasmus. 2 outs, nobody on, and then the command has been lost. A walk, a single, and now another walk. And that's going to bring the pitching coach.
Jim Hickey is out to talk to his young left-hander. The bases are loaded in 2 outs. Hey fans, keep watching. With the bases loaded, we're a grand slam away from awarding an 80-inch Sharp Quatron Aquos LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Big is too small a word for it. So Matt Moore has a little meeting with his catcher after Jim Hickey came to the mound. And boy, oh boy, if there was ever time for a big hit, it's right now.
Get your team off to a good start right here. This looked like an inning where nothing was going to happen. And then a very innocent 2-out walk. Encarnacion has loaded the bases.
Back into the windup for Moore, and he misses again. Escobar's in to score. Here comes Lynn right behind him, and Kelly Johnson delivers a big hit. A 2-run, 2-out double down the right field line, and the Blue Jays have jumped on Matt Moore early.
One of the things that the Blue Jays have been missing in this tough times that they have come through are the 2-out base hits, clutch base hits from the lineup. And Kelly Johnson is going to get the first one here tonight, not wasting any time. 1-0 fastball ripped into the corner by Johnson for a couple of RBIs. That's how you do it. 2 quick outs, a harmless walk to Encarnacion sets the stage for 2 runs.
Moises Sierra. It's the count in his favor. And remember those numbers. When Matt Moore is behind or even in the count, the league is at .311 against him. And that's where Sierra has him right now. Sierra's ahead, 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0 Jays.
Back in the stretch with runners at second and third.
Good drive, but this will reach the seats down the right side.
You know, I found it very curious after he got the first 2 batters out, first inning. It was almost like he was pitching around Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah.
Throwing a lot of changeup.
Three changeups in a row to fall behind 3-0.
I understand about pitching. I know you've got a. There might be a bigger picture that we're looking at, but I thought 2 outs, nobody on. Where's that good fastball?
Now he bounces this ball in the dirt. Boy, I agree with you 100%. And he seems to be a little bit confused right now. He goes back into the windup here after the first pitch is in the stretch, and he's back and forth just trying to find a comfortable release point.
Funny how one at bat can do that to you. I mean, he looked outstanding against Rajay Davis and Colby Rasmus, putting them away very quickly.
And this is a guy that has gone 9-2 since June 1st. 2 balls and a strike.
There's that good fastball, 95 miles an hour.
"28 pitches in the first." Escobar at third, Kelly Johnson at second. Johnson with a 2-run double. Strike 3 call. More strikes out Sierra to end the inning. Strikes out a pair, but the Blue Jays on Kelly Johnson's double take a 2-0 lead. You can win big. Audio, home theater systems, and big TVs like an 80-inch Sharp Aquos Quadron. To enter, visit Hit a Home Run with Sharp.ca. The popcorn has arrived. Joe Madden says, you know what, we can't tense up over a couple of losses, so James Shields is making sure that everybody's got enough popcorn to get them through the game.
This is the most popcorny, eatiest team, if that's a word, that I've ever seen in baseball.
They are very relaxed, and Joe Madden likes that. He said, hey, we lost 4 in a row down in Texas. They brought the big popcorn, and everybody has a bag, so they're going to make sure that nobody tenses up and takes this game too seriously. Longoria back at the plate. He was at the plate when Ben Zobrist was thrown out to end the top half of the first. The Rays had lost 4 straight before this game in Texas last night. They scored 8 runs, and there's James Shields. He's got the big popcorn there just to root everybody along. Say, you know what? This is not a big deal. Let's lighten up, boys. Longoria hits that hanging curveball into left field. A leadoff single for the Rays third baseman.
I love that kind of stuff about baseball. Anything to kind of pull your team together and bring them together. It might be something as silly as eating popcorn.
Yeah, and Joe Madden does a lot of things that are really outside the box. He said last week at home they had what they called American Legion Week. No batting practice, show up about 3:30, put the gear on, and go out and play a game. And that's the way we used to do it in American Legion.
Yeah, just like you did back when you were a youngster.
Yeah, you just go play the game. But he believes that too much batting practice, especially in August and September, can really wear down an already tired player.
And they watch that. They watch it religiously. Feels like hitters hit a little bit too much.
David Price right in the middle of it. And you know what? The starting pitchers, they really band together. And now they've got 6 of them. Matt Joyce, the DH tonight, goes after that high fastball, ball on the strike. Joyce is 3 for 8 against Villanueva. Carlos is making just his 2nd start against the Rays this season. Pops this one back out of play. The last time these two clubs met when Villanueva was on the mound was August 8th down in St. Petersburg. And Joyce had the 3rd of 3 consecutive hits against Villanueva that started the 3rd inning that led to the 3-run rally for Tampa Bay. Desmond Jennings doubled to start the inning. Upton drove him in with a double, and then Joyce singled. Changeup missed inside. Blue Jays are using that shift against Matt Joyce, who is really a pull hitter, especially when he hits the ball on the ground.
And it looks like he sees that, and it looks like he is starting to slow his swing down just a little bit to try and knock the ball to left field.
2-2. Rolls over that off-speed pitch. Can a hitter do that mid-stride? Can you do that in the middle of the game? Say, okay, now I'm going to go away from my normal swing.
Good hitters can. You know, they can just slow it down just a little bit, throw the hands out there, let that bat head drag just a little bit. All you have to do is hit a ground ball to the left side, and you've got yourself a base hit. Good hitters can do it.
Another 2-2 pitch. There's a base hit into right. Moises Sierra over to cut it off, and he'll get it back in quickly. Back-to-back hits for the Rays to start the 2nd.
The Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
So Jeff Keppinger will step in. .325 average. He has been one of the most consistent hitters for the Rays. He has just 271 at bats. He bunts it up the 3rd base line. Echeverria throws it in time to first, and Joe Madden, he knows it. He's been having trouble scoring runs, so he asked Keppinger to bunt. Echeverria made a good play, but the Rays now have 2 runners in scoring position.
And you get those first 2 runners on, and your offense is struggling. You got to figure out some way to get them over and get one of those runs back at least. Picture perfect right there. They make the 3rd baseman field it. Longoria still having trouble running with that hamstring problem. Just doesn't want to kick it into gear too quickly for fear of re-injury. So a good bump by Keppinger to advance in the 3rd.
Luke Scott. Breaking ball, and Villanueva gets a hit. Longoria checking with Tom Foley, the 3rd base coach, asking about the infield. Okay, where can I score? Well, you should be able to score anywhere on the infield with him back. Longoria once again looking at the depth of the infielders.
Yeah, everybody but the pitcher, he should be able to score.
Another breaking ball, another strike. Luke Scott didn't like it.
He's had a good eye his whole career. His numbers since coming from the disabled list. And he's going to ask the home plate umpire if that ball, if it really was a strike. It looked like the curveball, a little bit slower than the slider.
Jim Reynolds, the home plate umpire tonight. And Luke Scott did that in a very respectful manner. Are you sure that was a strike?
I just want to be, can it go any further?
Villanueva ahead 0-2.
Scott is in his 2-strike approach right now. He wants this RBI right here. This is a In his mind, a free RBI, a runner at third base, less than 2 outs, the infield playing very deep. He's spread out just a little bit more. His bat is a little bit flatter. You can tell he's going to really try and track that ball and shorten his swing.
Scott has 46 ribbies and just 256 at bats. He's certainly in his contact stance. 1-2, 1 out. Got out in front of that one and rips it into the seats. Isn't it funny how a guy like Scott in this situation saying, okay, all I want to do now is just square it up. And that's when you have your best swings.
That's when you have very good at bats. What he's doing right now, when we talk about two-strike approach, he's defending against the perfect pitch right there for Villanueva. If Carlos makes a good pitch, he just wants to be able to somehow get the bat on that ball and keep it fair in the middle of the diamond. If he makes a bad pitch, you'll see his eyes light up and then go ahead and take a very aggressive swing. But that stance right there is just to try and make contact on a tough pitch.
There's a tough pitch. That slider in the dirt, buried by Villanueva. You know, you talk about something that you don't hear much about anymore as we look at this ball in the dirt. Mathis, he did a great job with that yesterday in New York. And here he squares up on that breaking ball. But you mentioned Scott's approach here. That's what you were taught as a player when you started out. Protect the plate with 2 strikes. You rarely hear that anymore.
And that's a good thing, especially when you're fighting for runs, and it doesn't take a base hit right here to get a run home. At times we were falling in love with all the home runs. Well, those have gone away. Now it's time to try to manufacture some runs.
This is popped up, playable over near the Blue Jays dugout. Mathis has room and makes the catch. Well, that's the last thing Scott wanted to do. He had a non-productive at bat, popped it up with less than 2 outs and a runner at third.
Blue Jays have been making pitches the last couple of games. When they have gotten guys on, they have come back and made pitches to get out of innings. In New York, it seemed like they were in trouble all day yesterday. But in the end, they just gave up 5 runs. Left 8 men stranded yesterday.
First pitch changeup in there for a strike to the catcher, Jose Lobaton. He's a switch hitter batting left-handed against Villanueva. Lance Barrett down to third, said he went too far. Villanueva's ahead, 0-2. Carlos has been great all season long, pitching with runners in scoring position. Hitters have hit 158 against him with runners in scoring position. Just .081 with 2 outs.
Figure it out. That's what veterans do.
0-2, 2 outs. Got it. Came right back with a slider, caught the inside corner, and Villanueva has been great at pitching out of jams all year long. Second and third, 2 outs, and he strikes out the catcher to end the inning. Blue Jay legends George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and Lloyd Moseby made up one of the best young outfielders in the majors in the early 80s. The trio will be signing autographs at the Jays shop at Sears Young and Dundas location on Friday, August 31st, tomorrow from 1 to 2. This will be the first appearance of these three outfielders in 20 years, so get a chance to sign some autographs and meet some of the Blue Jay legends. Dwayne Ward, Frank Catalanato in attendance tonight. Dwayne Ward, of course, a big power closer for the World Series team.
I got to spend the morning with all of these guys, especially Bell, Barfield, and Moseby, and boy, did we ever have some laughs. We were doing the camps down on the field this morning, and they are passionate about what they do, all of them.
Yeah, they're all really sound fundamentally in their approach, and Jesse Barfield and Lloyd Moseby, really great outfielders. Of course, Bell became a decent outfielder, but he could hit. Man, could he hit?
Yeah, he could hit, and when I stopped laughing, because I was hanging around George Bell, when I stopped laughing with him, we were able to get in some good instruction this morning.
Mathis goes down on 3 pitches as Moore strikes him out. That's how the bottom of the second starts up. We mentioned Matt Moore has really taken off. Before the All-Star break, you can see he made 17 starts. His ERA was almost 4.5. But look at how dramatically he's turned things around. 8 starts, ERA under 2. The whip just over 1 in those 8 starts since the All-Star break. And we had mentioned since June 1st, he has a 9-2 record.
Using the fastball a little bit better, and its command. His command has been a lot better with the fastball. His walk rate is down. He cut that at almost half. The walks per 9 innings from July and August, and his whiff percentage, meaning his strikeout percentage, is a lot higher. It's the highest it's been all season long. So there is something to be said for commanding that great stuff.
And Danny Echeverria lifts a high fly ball into right. Sam Fold makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Moore here in the second.
In that game that we were talking about earlier when the Blue Jays faced him and they had him on the ropes early. You mentioned the 47 pitches that he had to use to get through the first couple of innings. He settled down and retired 14 in a row and ended up winning his 9th game of the season.
Back to the top of the order. Rajay Davis struck out in his first at bat. Boy, a lot of late life on that fastball. It ran all the way across the plate and caught the inside corner.
Yeah, that was a fastball too, with that type of movement on it. Rajay tried to swing at it and had to check up.
Shot into center field. That'll get down in front of B.J. Upton. Davis delivers against Matt Moore, a 2-out single.
You know, when he is staying inside the baseball, he's a pretty good hitter. He can create some havoc. That time, instead of trying to yank that ball and going around it and pulling it, he stayed inside with his hands, hit that ball hard on a line. And now the fun begins when Rajay Davis is on base.
Well, there's a beautiful shot with the roof open here at Rogers Center. Gorgeous night. Beautiful blue sky. Rajay with a big lead. And Moore throws a first pitch strike to Rasmus. Davis with 39 steals. He's been caught 11 times.
It's ironic they show a jet in the sky and there's a jet over at first base.
That's good producing. Breaking ball that got away from Lobaton, but Davis didn't think it was far enough to risk advancing. Trout of the Angels has 41 steals. That leads the American League. Rajai is second. Then Revere of the Twins has 30. That ball is hit toward the gap in right center, but B.J. Upton runs it down. He can go get him. Looked like that had a chance to go up the alley and all the way to the wall, but the Rays are out of the second. 2-0 Blue Jays after 2. Takes a look at a group of 11 kids from Toronto's underserved communities who were given an opportunity of a lifetime. A heartbreaking, inspiring story you won't want to miss. Monday on Sportsnet. Ricky Romero is involved with something that's close to his heart. He came from East LA, part of Los Angeles. And kids were always challenged to do the right thing, and Romero obviously has. Number 9 hitter is Sam Fuld, who takes the first pitch strike. Fuld got a lot of attention today when he arrived at the ballpark. Everybody wanted to talk to Sam Fuld because of his contact with Jose Bautista regarding Bautista's wrist injury. Oh, 2. Sam Fuld injured his wrist last September. The same injury that Bautista suffered. Fuld rehabbed it all winter long, came to spring training thinking that he'd be able to get through it, and ultimately had to give in to surgery on April 3rd. Fuld missed 96 games, but he and Bautista spoke about the injury, the surgery, and the rehab process, and Jose Bautista was very grateful for that opportunity. Villanueva strikes him out. That's the first out of the top of the third.
And they say Sam Fuld is all the way back. And that's why Villanueva very careful with him. Gets ahead with a couple of fastballs early in the count and then wipes him out with that breaking ball. A couple of strikeouts his last 2 times for Carlos Villanueva.
Back to the top of the order, Desmond Jennings. This is where Villanueva had trouble the last time he faced Tampa Bay. They scored 3 runs in the 3rd inning. They sent 8 men to the plate. It was Jennings that got things started with a leadoff double. Boy, he throws that changeup well, doesn't he? Same arm slot as his fastball, same arm speed, and then the bottom just falls out of that changeup.
In baseball terms, they call that the dead fish. It's like you got a big salmon up there and you're heaving it towards the plate, and it just won't get there. Your arm speed is the same as a fastball, but the ball just doesn't arrive. And he has one of the better changeups on the Blue Jays staff. Not afraid to throw it.
Was it right there? He can throw it any time, obviously. What is it about the arm speed that affects hitters so much?
Yeah, as a hitter, you see that arm speed, the same one for the fastball and the same one as a breaking ball, and you see that arm speed. You're taught as a kid to look over the right shoulder of a pitcher, to watch that arm come through, and then all of a sudden you're looking for the ball and it's not there. Your mind registers fastball because you see the arm speed, but then your eyes eventually tell you it's a changeup, and it's just not enough time to react. And I think all pitchers, if you're a young kid, you've got to learn to throw an effective changeup. It's a great pitch.
He throws it 3-2 and gets a strikeout. 3 strikeouts in a row for Carlos Villanueva, and he's been on a bit of a roll. His last 3 starts, he's pitched a total of 19 innings, had 16 strikeouts. The opponents have hit just 206 against him, and his whip is under 1. The problem for Villanueva is he hasn't had much run support. The Blue Jays have been challenged offensively, and Villanueva hasn't been able to pick up the W.
That's been tough for him. Those 4 games that you were just showing up there where he has lost 4 of them. 3 of them have been on the road. At Seattle, at Tampa, at Baltimore. He's pitched well enough to win any of those games.
That's a foul ball. Sounded like it hit his bat, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't seen the umpire, Jim Reynolds, make any indication, but it sounded to me like it hit his bat. The scoreboard is showing 1-1. Evidently didn't hit his bat.
It hit something.
Well, it sure did. It sounded like to me. It's 1-2, 2 outs. B.J. Upton. Another changeup. This one at 86, but in the dirt.
Yeah, that one just a little bit too hard. He's good when he's at 82 or 83 miles an hour with the changeup, and that's almost 10 miles per hour variance on his fastball. That's what you want, 10 to 12 miles per hour difference. That one at 86 was just a little bit too hard.
Strike 3 count. Villanueva used that cut fastball, catches the outside corner, and he strikes out the side. B.J. Upton caught looking. That's 4 in a row for Villanueva. Home run in the 4th inning. A lucky winner will take home a Sharp home theater system, including audio soundbar, Blu-ray player, and Aquos LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp, big is too small a word for it. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead as they bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Edwin Encarnacion's bat was a turning point for Matt Moore in the 1st. Looked like he pitched around him. Encarnacion a walk. This is a shot down the left side, and that is just barely foul. It went right between the end of that fence and the seats. And it was a low liner out of here.
It had the distance down the left field line. Another changeup, and this ball is blistered to left field, and you'll see the the hook on that ball as it's hooking, foul. And that ball, if he could have stayed fair, would have been number 35. Matt Moore pushing that ball foul. Gets his wish. See if they stay with that changeup that they used against him, or they challenge him a little bit more with the fastball.
Let me tell you something. If I'm Matt Moore and I'm packing 96, I throw it till they hit it.
Right. I agree.
I'm coming at you. It's 96. He's got the 4th best fastball in baseball. And there's a breaking ball, and Encarnacion strikes out. 96 with the fastball, late breaking curveball, and he strikes out Encarnacion to start the bottom of the 3rd.
If he starts getting those pitches over for strikes, it could be a battle. But you're right about the changeup, and that's why I was saying I understand the big picture about pitching at the first time up. 2 outs, nobody on. Maybe you want to show them that you're trying to establish something, or you're going to use your changeup. But you throw the ball that hard, that way, no tricks.
There are 100 starting pitchers in baseball that would die for a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
And the way he throws that, too.
Oh, man. It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, easy cheese.
Easy cheese that gets on you quick. 1 out. Adam Lind had an opposite field single his first time up. Came around to score the 2nd Blue Jays run.
Had some good at-bats yesterday against C.C. Sabathia. Did Adam Lind. Stayed right in there on the tough left-hander.
Then had a RBI single against Sabathia in the 3rd inning, and then a sharp line drive base hit to right in the 6th. I like Matt Moore's windup. It's kind of an old-fashioned classic windup. Gets a lot of momentum going into the pitch, and he's really balanced when he comes to this separation point. Ball is driven toward left. Desmond Jennings moves underneath it, makes the catch, 2 outs. Matt Moore chatting with his catcher, but you look at the Tampa Bay's pitching since the All-Star break. They're 26-18. That's tied for the first in the majors. But look at the ERA. Team ERA is 2.38. Starters ERA 2.91. The bullpen has been ridiculous. A 1.21 run average. The whip is 1 overall, and this team is really pitching well right now.
Yeah, first in the major leagues and all of those ranks, and a lot of those numbers, certain stretches of the season, historically, it's some of the best. They had a stretch, I was talking to some of the Ray people, where they played 22 games and they only went 11-11 in those games, but they pitched well enough that they seriously, honestly felt they could have gone 20-2 in that stretch. That's how well they were pitching.
David Price and James Shields, they set the tone. Alex Cobb, the youngster, has pitched well. Jeremy Hellickson will start tomorrow. And Jeff Neiman comes back to resume his season. What a play by Zobrist. And Luke Scott can't dig it out of the dirt. Well, Zobrist made a terrific play. Gloved it, popped to his feet, but Luke Scott couldn't help him out. The short throw bounced off his glove.
Just his, again, 2nd game starting at first base. As Zobrist gets to it, comes up and throws it in the dirt. Luke's 2nd start here at first base, and a normal first baseman will come up with that one. As it just pops out of his glove. It looked like he got down there in time and got it on the finger portion of that glove and just can't close it quick enough.
Kelly Johnson, a 2-run double in the first. He's responsible for all the runs in this game. His first hit in 3 at-bats against Matt Moore. The looper in the left. Jennings has good speed, but he's not going to get there. He does a good job of knocking that ball down and keeping Escobar from scoring. But Kelly Johnson, he has his second hit. Jennings, once he saw he couldn't make a catch, went into prevent mode, and he's able to knock it down with his bare hand to keep Escobar from scoring.
Using that 6'3" frame effectively off the end of the bat for Johnson, and he'll take it. Jennings comes in to try and make the play, but then realizes he can't, and he's just going to try and knock it down with any part of his body. He uses his bare hand to slap at it and keep it in front of him. Comes up throwing, and it almost gets Escobar at third base. Good play by Jennings on left.
Escobar ends up at third base, 2 outs. Kelly Johnson, we mentioned his 10 steals. He's had 10 stolen bases, but hasn't swiped a bag since July 15th. Moises Sierra. Pretty good move by Moore right there as he just stepped off the back of the rubber.
Well, that step-off move was a great move if you've never seen it before. Lefties can do that. All they have to do is step off and snap that throw over there. Dave Brigetti was the best I've ever seen. Terry Mulholland, outstanding.
Bouncing ball to third. Longoria will go to second for the forced out, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays threaten with a couple of 2-out hits, but strand the pair. They still hold a 2-0 lead. Down at Double-A, and Johan Pino, the last 5 starts he's made, he's 5-0 with a 1.45 ERA. Walked just 7 and struck out 30. But the interesting note is he's 28 years old. He was originally signed by the Minnesota Twins in 2004. He's bounced around a little bit, but you never know when somebody might blossom, and he's throwing the ball very well right now at Double-A.
And he's also spent some time in the Cleveland Indians organization. He was traded to the Blue Jays last April, and he is in Double-A. Last year.
Ben Zobrist leading things off for Tampa Bay here in the 4th. Oh, bread and butter pitch. That changeup. That turned me over changeup catching the outside corner. Just kind of rolls his wrist inside out, and that ball just dies on that outside edge.
He's going to have to pitch carefully to Zobrist because he has seen him quite well.
I guess you could say that. Zobrist walked his first time up. He's only had 3 hits against Carlos Villanueva, but all 3 hits were home runs. 3 for 6 in his career. How do you do that?
I don't know. Maybe I can do that in BP, but not in the game. That's a good pitch.
No swing, says Lance Baird down at third base.
Boy, he locked him up with that slider.
Comes right back with it, and he's out in front. That might have been the curveball. That was a little bit slower. Both the pitches look very similar, but the slider is about 6, 7, 8 miles an hour harder than the curveball.
That's how you can tell. You can see as he jams that back into his glove, and he's got Ben Zobrist way out in front.
The pitch was 78 miles an hour. Boy, what a backup pitch after that slow breaking ball. He catches the inside corner. That's 5 straight strikeouts for Villanueva.
1, 2, 3, and now number 4 taking. So the Tampa Bay Rays haven't zeroed in on Villanueva right now. And if you throw strikes, these kind of things can happen.
First pitch changeup. Longoria didn't like it, thought it was a bit upstairs. Villanueva with 5 straight strikeouts. The Blue Jays record for consecutive strikeouts is 6. Now he's just 1 strike away from tying that.
You got a chance to see that this year, didn't you?
Jay Happ, he had 6 in a row against the Texas Rangers. Mark Zebchinski had 6 straight strikeouts, and Ted Lilly was the first Blue Jay to strike out 6 in a row. Boy, that was the old emergency hack right there. That high fastball Longoria was trying to protect with 2 strikes.
That's setting things up right there. There's Jay Happ, who had that 6 straight strikeouts against a pretty good hitting ball club.
I would say so. The Texas Rangers just tied the record. The curveball gets Longoria. There is 6 consecutive strikeouts for Carlos Villanueva.
Well, let's go through them right here. Lobaton taking that pitch on the inner half, and just watch where all of these pitches are and the different types of pitches. A change up here and a change up there, a curveball there, a little fastball against Ben Zobrist, and then another hard slider to get number 6 in a row against Longoria. Right now, Carlos Villanueva is dealing.
Boy, you can see he's in a groove. Everything he throws is a strike in a good spot. Matt Joyce, single to right field his first time up. This is the 11th start for Carlos this season. Last year he made 13 starts. But he is much better prepared for this role this season. Quick pitch and a pop-up. Left field. Rajay Davis calls for it right at the last moment, and that snaps the strikeout streak. But Carlos Villanueva has tied a franchise record. 6 consecutive strikeouts. He has a 2-0 lead. that choice. Escobar's all the way out into left, and he peels out of the way at the very last moment. Rajai Davis has to slide to break his momentum to make the catch. And then John Farrell comes over after the inning, and he says, hey, let's don't go so far out there. And Unell has done this. We have seen him go out into center field, but Farrell said, hey, you know, let the outfielders catch the ball. And that's always a priority. If the outfielder can call off an infielder, no matter whether it's a shortstop or second baseman, you always yield to the outfielder who's coming in and has a better angle.
Pop up and fly ball priority. Rajai Davis taking control right there to record the out.
Bottom of the fourth inning. Jeff Mathis struck out his last time up. That started the second. Ball is hit into center field, but B.J. Upton, he covers everything out there and makes the catch. One down.
Save during the homeowner sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Beautiful late summer night here in Toronto. Labor Day weekend coming up. Blue Jays will play 3 consecutive day games, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday afternoon. Danny Echeverria. Echeverria filling in at third base for the injured Brett Lawrie, making his 13th start at third.
You know, you're starting to see a little bit better from Echeverria is the timing at the plate. The timing and the ability for him to get that barrel out. He'll still have his strikeouts, but you can see him as he plays a little bit more. He's a little bit more comfortable and speeding his game up to the big league level.
And Matt Moore strikes him out, just pours that fastball right by him. That is 5 strikeouts for Matt Moore. Tampa Bay trying to go back to the postseason and really dominated the Blue Jays. 11 of the 18 meetings this season, they have won 9 of the 11 games played. They've outpitched the Blue Jays dramatically. Over 3 runs. Their batting average 277 compared to 205, and they've outscored the Blue Jays, and in fact they've out-homered the Blue Jays, so they beat them in every aspect of play. Blue Jays would love to turn things around and finish up on a bit of a high note against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they have had their number. It doesn't seem like they have a. Every time they do something, Tampa Bay has a way to counteract that, and they have an answer for the Blue Jays, and it just seems like every time. John Farrell tries this. Tampa Bay's got that for him. He brings in a reliever for this, and they've got an answer for that.
It's really interesting that they mentioned the defense hasn't been what Joe Madden normally expects because they've had to move so many players around. Coming into this game tonight, they've committed the second most errors in the American League. Only Baltimore has made more errors. And that's really a contradiction when you think about both of these teams being playoff contending ball clubs, and they're kicking it around so frequently.
And remember, Tampa last year was outstanding when it came to fielding in the American League.
Well, I think it's the fact that Evan Longoria is only making his 28th start. They've used 8 starters at third base, 8 starters at second base, and now Ben Zobrist is playing shortstop. I mean, they've had to move around a lot.
Really haven't had that everyday shortstop since Jason Bartlett left. Went to San Diego a couple of years ago.
Three and two, 2 outs. Rajai Davis hits it to right. Sam Folds got a lot of speed, and he runs it down. Well, the Blue Jays through 4 innings have a 2-0 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry broadcast studio. Center. The Orioles will be the first club in September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The Baltimore Orioles won today 5-3, so they have moved a half game closer to the Yankees, just 3 back. Mariners are in, and the Seattle Mariners are trying to get to 500. Red Sox have had a tough season, much like the Blue Jays. They'll be here for the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then the New York Yankees, a 4-game series to close out the month of September. 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. And for tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. You can order your tickets online at BlueJays.com. Or pick them up at most Rogers Plus locations. Carlos Villanueva is putting on a clinic tonight, shutting out Tampa Bay on 2 hits.
Starting to use that changeup very early in the count. Jennings, Upton, Zobrist, Longoria, all of them using it early to get ahead, strike 1.
This is an interesting batter right here. It was Keppinger who bunted in the 2nd inning after back-to-back base hits. Put down a perfect sacrifice and moved the runners up. But there are so many people who say, why would you give up an out? In a situation like that, you're on the road. You got one of your best hitters at the plate, hitting for the best average all year long. And sure enough, he sacrificed. But then Luke Scott popped up and Lobaton struck out.
I think it was early enough in the ball game, just the 2nd inning. I thought Joe Madden was playing for 1 run. Would love to have had 2. Certainly would have taken 3, but at that point, I think he's got enough confidence in his pitching staff from top to bottom where you have a chance to score 1. Let's see if we can get him in and maybe plate 2 and then take it from there.
Tampa Bay uses the sacrifice bunt on a regular basis. Only the Angels have bunted more in sacrifice situations than Tampa Bay. The Rays now have 31 sacrifice bunts. The Angels have 38. There's a base hit to right. No outs, 1 on. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. What a reward. Hey, Zach, nice job. See you later.
See you in a couple of days.
Yeah.
When rosters can.
That's all that is about, as Randy Wolf's going to be added, take his spot. And the plan initially is to have Wolf pitch out of the bullpen. Randy Wolf was rumored to be going to the Yankees, but that didn't work out. Luke Scott, he popped up to the catcher in the 2nd inning.
And if he hits a ball to the right side, they've got the shift on. This is going to be very interesting how the Blue Jays are going to turn it Kelly Johnson, you can see him standing next to a second base. He was telling Danny Echeverria, if you get a ground ball in the hole there, I'm the guy who's going to be covering at second base.
Now, the only reason that Escobar is playing where he is at shortstop is to guard against the bunt. The Rays have bunted against the shift. Carlos Pena's done it several times this season.
Even a ground ball to Encarnacion, that'll go 4-3-4 because it'll be Johnson having to cover the bag.
He's going to pop up left side out of the play.
Pena is second on the team in bunt hits. Luke Scott is third. He's had 3 bunt hits. And I guarantee you that all of them have been against the shift.
A team like this, where you are offensively challenged, the Rays have hit just .237 as a team. You'll take base runners whenever you can get them.
Yep.
Jose Molina on the bench with Carlos Pena. Of course, Luke Scott is one of the few power bats in their lineup, so they want him to swing in more often than not.
He can hit. He's got a short swing. Again, now with 2 strikes, he finds himself. He's just going to be battling Villanueva.
Quite a battle going on here. An off-speed pitch. This is not particularly a good ballpark for pitchers to work in. The ball flies out of here very easily, but you can see how well Villanueva has pitched at Rogers Center since the 4th of July. A 3-1 record, ERA at 1.48. Opponents have hit under 200, and the opponent's risk has been consistent for him all season long. Runners in scoring position, they have just delivered a 1-for-14 against Villanueva.
I love the strikeouts per 9 innings, almost a strikeout an inning on average from Villanueva. And we talk about it all the time, wanting those strikeouts. He's showing you he can do that.
Luke Scott's making him work. Carlos Villanueva has 6 strikeouts in the game, and they came consecutively. He struck out Jose Lobaton to end the second, and then got Full, Jennings, Upton, Zobrist, and Longoria. That's a stretch of some pretty good bats. Jennings, Upton, and Longoria have given Villanueva problems in the past. A long battle between Villanueva and Scott. And Villanueva wins it. Scott got a piece of it, but Mathis held on for the strikeout.
You know, the little things that go unnoticed in a ball game. Watch Jeff Mathis stay with this. That's a foul tip, and he stays right with it. Wasn't real sure where it was, but records the out by holding on to it. This guy does so many things within a game that people don't notice. If you watch closely, that play right there really saves Villanueva and gets him a strikeout.
Yeah, that foul chip, you can feel it in your glove, but you could see how he wanted to shake it to the webbing to make sure he held on. 1 out. Jose Lobaton started that strikeout streak in the second inning. He was caught looking at strike 3. Bouncing ball over the mound. Escobar can't find the handle. Yunel Escobar went into his glove, which I agreed with. I liked the fact he caught it with his glove, but then once he got it in his glove, he couldn't get a grip on the baseball. It'll be an infield hit for Lobaton.
That's something that doesn't happen a lot. Lobaton doesn't run that well. The ball comes off with some English. He catches it. And then you can see how disgusted he is with himself. He just doesn't have a firm grip on it.
So now there are 2 on, 1 out. Double play is in order. Sam Fuld, the right fielder. Fuld struck out in the 3rd. Goes after the first pitch and drives it to left. Rajai Davis calls for it, makes the catch, and runners will hold their ground. Fans, a new NFL season is just around the corner, and Thursday Night Football comes your way beginning September 13th with one of the best rivalries in sports, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. The NFL on Sportsnet all season. Hard to believe that we are right around the corner from September, and college football starts up in the U.S. and right behind it the NFL.
Yeah, the last week of the exhibition season for the NFL teams.
Leadoff man Desmond Jennings makes the first pitch strike.
How about that? 3 straight at bats by Desmond Jennings. 3 different pitches, first pitches from Villanueva.
Well, as a catcher, when you warm up the pitcher, you can sense that everything's working, so you could just kind of roll the dice and say, okay, he'll throw this for a strike, he can throw that for a strike. That's really when it gets fun behind the plate.
Yeah. Start to create stuff back there, really get in the minds of those hitters.
Line to left field. Davis coming in quickly and makes a sliding catch. Jennings hit it hard, but right to the left fielder. And the inning is over. The Rays threaten here in the 5th, but Rajai Davis makes the catch to end the inning. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Beautiful night to be at the ballpark, and why not be in the front row? And they are very entertained to a very good pitcher's duel. Blue Jays got 2 in the 1st, and that's been it. Matt Moore settled down, and Carlos Villanueva has been on his game all night long. Kobe Rasmus will start things off for the Jays here in the 5th. Rasmus was robbed of a potential extra base hit his last time up in the 2nd when he lined out to B.J. Upton deep in right center.
I didn't think he had any chance of getting that ball off the bat of Rasmus, but that's B.J. Upton in center field. He makes it look easy.
He'll be an interesting free agent at the end of this season. Rasmus showing bunt and takes it outside.
Maybe the Tampa Bay pitching staff will have to pool their money to try and keep him here because he has saved so many runs with that great defense in center field. I know if I'm starting, I want him out there.
Well, and the thing too is they've got these Tampa Bay pitchers tied up. Matt Moore signed a contract last December for 5 years, a $14 million guarantee. He's got multiple options, and he's got some bonuses in that contract that could eventually lead to $37.5 million. And that was after spending a couple of games in the big leagues last year.
Yeah, maybe a month in the big leagues last year. You can just see why they have reached out and signed him to that long-term contract. This stuff, I mean, it really plays.
The Rays did the same thing to Evan Longoria. They signed him to a 6-year contract before he ever stepped in the big leagues. I would say that worked out. Longoria is just 26 years old. He's been around so long, you think he's much older than that, but he hasn't really hit his prime yet.
And there's arguments on both sides of that. You know, if you're a young player, you want a little security. And if you're the ball club, you want a little cost certainty with some of your young players.
Boy, look at you dropping the old cost certainty.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Front office phrase that we hear all the time.
I just wrote it down right there so I would remember how to say it. But also, a young player, he can risk going to play on one-year contracts year after year after year. And I was always told that that's the best way and the fastest way to make the most money. Gamble by one-year contracts.
I was begging for one-year contracts 17 times. 2 balls and a strike, 1 out. We are in the bottom of the 5th. Well, that's a good breaking ball. Matt Moore has found his groove after a shaky first inning. And this was the pattern we saw the last time he beat the Blue Jays on August 9th.
He had a stretch of 14 in a row set down in that game against the Blue Jays. Ends up winning it.
High and deep to center, up and back, looking at the wall, right up against the fence, and makes the catch. The Encarnacion has just missed homers twice tonight against Moore. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Partnership. Beautiful downtown shot of Toronto on the shores of Lake Ontario and the CN Tower high above Rogers Center. Adam Lind has singled to left and flied out to left. Big bouncing ball to Keppinger at second. A quick inning for Matt Moore. Sets down the Blue Jays in order in the 5th. We've played 5 at Rogers Center. It's 2-0 Jays. tonight's ball game. He threw it to Ricky Romero, and he's in town to promote his new book. And Frank will be available for autographs tomorrow near section 127 from 5:30 to 6:15. You can also purchase a copy of Frank's new book, Heart and Hustle, for $26.95 with $5 of every sale going to the Jays Care Foundation. So Frank Catalano was a good Blue Jay, and he's back here with this alumni group, part of the Honda Super Camps. And you can get an autograph and buy a book from Frank Catalano tomorrow afternoon right here at Rogers Center.
He had a nice long discussion with Ricky Romero when he walked off the mound there after throwing that first pitch to him. He could hit.
Very versatile player. He could play in the infield, play in the outfield, give you DH. Good left-handed bat off the bench. Catalano had a good career. B.J. Upton, 1-1 count. Big swing and a miss.
Well, it looked like he was doing one thing right there.
Trying to leave.
He's had a lot of extra base hits, like you were saying. And just a little bit tardy on that pitch.
One and two. High fly ball into center field. Rasmus drifts over underneath. Takes the catch. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Bryce Harper's been hot, had a couple of home runs in last night's game, and the Atlanta Braves were closing in on the Washington Nationals. They'd gotten to within 4 games, but Atlanta had a rough West Coast road trip.
How about that game yesterday? Had a couple of home runs, becoming only the 3rd teenage center fielder to have a multiple homer game in Major League history. How about that? Ken Griffey Jr., the last one to do it.
Yeah, that's another good teenager.
He is just scratching the surface, I think, Bryce Harper, how good he can be.
He is very talented and obviously a very intense guy. Graduated from high school after his junior year, went to junior college when he should have been a senior, and still was good enough to be the best player in the country and was taken first overall by Washington. How about Washington getting Steven Strasburg one year and then Bryce Harper the next?
Good time to be bad.
I think too, when you think about the Rays and their turnaround, David Price was a first pick overall coming out of Vanderbilt, a 6'6" pitcher, and why not make him the poster boy for that draft? And that set a tone for Tampa Bay that they have just carried right on through, promoting rookie pitchers up to the big leagues and giving them a regular spot in the rotation.
They've done a fine job of developing pitchers. Not all of them have been #1 picks or #1 in the country type of player.
Zobrist with a base hit past the diving Kelly Johnson. He's 1 for 2 with a walk tonight.
He's been locked in, and he likes facing Carlos Villanueva. Breaking ball lays back and rifles it past Johnson in the right field. Put your hot hitters together.
Zobrist was caught stealing to end the first inning. 2-0 ball game. Evan Longoria. He's gone 1 for 2. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it off at the plate. Off-speed pitch, and Longoria fouls it up. Ben Zobrist with the single against Carlos Villanueva. It's the first single he's ever had against Villanueva. The other 3 hits were all home runs. And he has seen him well, and it's just limited at bats. Coming into this game, Zobrist was 3 for 6. He's caught 1 for 2 tonight, so he's still hitting .500, but the slugging percentage is coming down.
Yeah, it's coming down after the 3 home runs. It might be a little bit easier for the lefties to face Villanueva with that breaking ball coming into him as opposed to going away.
On the ground, could be 2. Escobar to Johnson at second. Back to first it is. A 6-4-3 double play wipes out Ben Zobrist's single and closes out the Rays in the 6th. Escobar got a Sunday hop at short. Kelly Johnson a quick turn at second, and the Jays are out of the inning. Today, there are 5 ways to win this year, including a grand prize draw for Canada's largest LCD TV, a 90-inch Sharp Outpost. Join Sharp Canada on Facebook today. Whale of a ball game here on Thursday night at Rogers Center. First to 4 against the Tampa Bay Rays. Blue Jays trying to play spoiler. They ruined the Yankees party in New York, taking 2 out of 3. Everybody in Baltimore was thrilled about that. First pitch curveball by Matt Moore.
John Farrell was telling us today, Buck, that it felt like his team got swept by Detroit, but played really well against Baltimore and could have upset their party a little bit when they are in Baltimore.
Last 2 games, you know, Escobar is 5 for 6, 3 doubles, a home run, and 5 ribbies. He's got an 8-game hit streak. Been on base twice tonight. Boy, that's a good changeup. A lot of depth to that changeup, but it had some serious sink just as it got into that hitting zone.
Watch how it comes across. Escobar sees it, and it goes right underneath his bat. It crossed the plate right at the knees and ended up in the dirt by the time it got to the catcher.
Big breaking ball for the strikeout. That's 7 strikeouts for Matt Moore.
Well, he's got swing and miss stuff. Opponent's swing and miss percentage is one of the highest in baseball, just behind Francisco Liriano. And he's got 3 pitches that he can get you to swing and miss at.
The veteran Darren Oliver is loosening up down in the Blue Jays bullpen. Matt Joyce, Jeff Heppinger, and Luke Scott. 2 of the 3 first scheduled batters for Tampa Bay are left-handed. Another good breaking ball in. Moore has really settled down.
Johnson is the last batter to reach base against him. He came three innings ago.
Kelly Johnson is 2 for 2. Johnson has driven in the only 2 runs of this ball game. Came with a 2-out first inning double. You mentioned Matt Moore and the strikeouts. He came into this ball game averaging 8.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's a significant number when you put it in historic perspective. Only 3 rookie left-handers have reached a full season with a strikeout ratio that high. Herb Score of the Indians in 55, Al Downing in 63 with the Yankees, and Rick Anquilla with the Cardinals in 2000. Broken bat, easy ground ball for Keppinger. 2 down. Well, Matt Moore has turned his season around mid-season to start on June 1st, and the Tampa Bay Rays, since the All-Star break, have the best ERA in the American League, a 2.38 ERA, and that's almost a full run better than Seattle. Oakland's also pitching very well. They've stayed in the hunt. And then you have the Blue Jays, Cleveland, and Minnesota. They've all really fallen on hard times in the second half.
How about over their last 38 games, they've only given up 87 runs coming into tonight.
That's
amazing.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Amazing.
Playing in the American League, just over 2 runs a game.
Yeah, that is with the DH, and it is the AL East.
Yeah. I mean, Oakland and Seattle are in the American League West, and they both play in very good pitchers' ballparks. Moises Sierra, the right fielder, hits it hard into center field. A base hit. Jennings over quickly from left to cut it off and keep Sierra at first.
Change up out over the plate, and Sierra has shown that that's a pitch that he can handle. That change up, he keeps his weight back, he keeps the hands back. If you do that, you got a chance to hit the ball solidly, which he does.
Jeff Mathis is over 2 so far. That one got away from Moore. You see Matt Moore in that high exaggerated leg kick. It reminds me a little bit of Al Leiter. How animated his delivery is. And Leiter, we just saw him with the Yankees in New York, but that leg kick is very similar. That time he tried that slide step changeup and it missed.
That didn't work too much. It just really threw off his timing of his release point. Now you've got that high type of leg kick like that can hide the ball for you. Hitters talk about that all the time. They just don't see the ball.
Blue Jays scored 2 runs in their half of the first, and there hasn't been a run scored since. 2-0. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Mathis takes the 2-out walk. There's no action in the Rays bullpen.
Well, that's how the rally started in the first inning for the Blue Jays after 2 were out.
So now Joe Madden will get somebody going as he sends the pitching coach Jim Hickey to the mound. They'll get the bullpen up and throwing.
Save during the homeowner sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Short message from Jim Hickey to his young left-handed pitcher, Matt Moore. As good as Tampa Bay starters have been in August, they have a 2.82 ERA. The bullpen for Tampa Bay, 0.93 ERA in the month of August. And that has a lot to do with the innings they have worked. And Wade Davis, the right-hander, is starting to loosen up. Tampa Bay has thrown the 4th fewest runs out of their bullpen. 4th fewest innings out of their bullpen because the starters pitched so late into the game.
Yeah, you don't know what that does to the bullpen over the course of a summer. When you can squeak that extra inning out here or a couple of innings there by your starters, they go just a little bit deeper. And everybody just stays fresh down in that bullpen. It makes Joe Maddon's job a lot easier by slotting guys.
They've got a lot of big arms down there. Kyle Farnsworth, Fernando Rodney. Bouncing ball to short. Zobrist will go across the diamond the first, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays leave a couple of base runners. We've played 6 at Rogers Center. 2-0 Jays. Out of the game after 6 innings. He holds the Rays to just 5 hits. They haven't scored. Walked the batter and struck out 7, including 6 consecutive strikeouts. From the 2nd through 2 outs into the 4th, he struck out 6 in a row. 94 pitches for Villanueva. And you have to think that John Farrell has summoned in the left-hander because there are 2 left-handed batters in the next 3 spots in the lineup.
Yeah, work your way through the rest of this ball game. Villanueva had a couple of 8 strikeout games. Tonight was his 3rd 7 strikeout start this season. He'll turn it over to Darren Oliver. Ollie hasn't worked for 3 days. Last time Blue Jays saw him was 3 days ago when he worked 2 innings and picked up his 3rd win of the season. That was at New York. Just doing his things. No hits, no runs, a walk and 3 strikeouts against the Yankees to pick up that W. He gets the chance now in the 7th inning as opposed to his accustomed 8th inning.
Brian Roberts will come off the bench and he will bat for the DH Matt Joyce. Roberts, the former Blue Jay. And Oliver throws that first pitch breaking ball in there for a strike. Roberts was originally signed by the Blue Jays in 2003. It's this ball just outside of 3rd foul.
He had a big year last year with the Arizona Diamondbacks, playing mostly 3rd base for them.
Hit 19 home runs and drove in 65 for the D-backs. He was acquired by Tampa Bay in exchange for Tyler Bortnick this past July, trying to spark the Rays offensively. How about Darren Oliver? You think he's done this before? And Oliver gets Ryan Roberts the first out of the 7th in the bullpen. Boy, they had a good stop in New York. Their bullpen ERA 2.84. Opponents hit 1.59. They had a whip under 1 and had straight 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. And Dan Oliver, as Pat mentioned, was the winner in extra innings. But Delabar, Lyon, Luke, Oliver, Jansen, they all pitched very well against the Yankees.
There is some depth in that bullpen now. At the beginning of the season, or 2 months ago, there were 3 guys that you could really count on. Now there are 8 guys who are throwing really well with some big arms.
Isn't that interesting? And you're right. There was a point in the season where John Farrell felt most comfortable with Jason Frazier, Darren Oliver, Casey Jansen, and the rest of it was real coin toss.
And it was changing every week, it seemed like.
Yeah, they've had a lot of changes, but now, I mean, literally, he can use anybody down in that bullpen at any time and feel comfortable. Even the youngsters, Jenkins and Loop. Aaron Loop has been maybe the brightest rookie that we have seen this year. His consistency, his composure, his poise. Ball is hit into center field, but not deep. Keppinger is out, 2 down. Darren Oliver looks like he's walking through the park.
Some left-handers now at the bottom of this lineup. Now you see why they brought him in the 7th inning. Was not having worked for 3 days. They might be able to coax 2 innings out of Oliver tonight.
He's only thrown 7 pitches and gotten 2 outs. Luke Scott again looking up at that exaggerated shift. Luke Scott keeps an extensive notebook on all the pitchers he's faced, making reminders to himself about how they go after him. And just like that, he's in the hole 0-2. Note to self: swing early against Oliver.
Especially when he is throwing strikes the way he is right now. He's only faced Darren 4 times in his career, so that notebook is pretty short.
Couple of lines.
Just a couple of lines.
Right now he's got to decide between fastball or breaking ball, and Oliver has the upper hand. 0-2, 2 outs. Wow, what an inning for Darren Oliver. 10 pitches in the inning. He sets the Rays down in order and strikes out 2. Gets the pinch hitter Roberts and then strikes out Luke Scott to end the inning. As Matt Moore gives way to the Rays bullpen, he goes 6 innings, 6 hits. 2 of those 6 hits led to 2 runs in the first, and then he shut down the Blue Jays over the next 5. He walked 3, struck out 7 through 98 pitches, and he is right now looking at a loss unless Tampa Bay can come back. That first inning proved costly, and he continues to discuss his outing to Jim Hickey, and talking about mechanics and the possibility of overthrowing a pitch or two. Now he'll turn it over to the former starter, Wade Davis, who has been very good working out of the bullpen.
Yeah, the bullpen agrees with on 41 games. He has given Joe Madden a 1-0 record, 247 earned run average. He has really eaten up the lefties this year. And that big fastball that he has and big breaking ball really plays as a reliever, as he can go hard for as long as Joe Madden needs him to. His stuff has always been very good. And this year he is really harnessing it, pitching out of the bullpen.
Rajay Davis leading things off. Ball on the strike. Inside. Good fastball. 94 upstairs.
Yeah, he can do that coming out of the bullpen. When you look at his numbers, he is averaging 2 miles an hour faster on his fastball coming out of the bullpen this year as opposed to starting last year. You want 6-7 innings from your starter. You have to pace yourself at times. Out of the bullpen, here it is. Let's see if you can hit it. So you can reach back for a little something extra.
There's a little extra at 95, but it was off the plate. Full count. 2-0 ball game. Rajay Davis would love to get on base to start this inning. Blue Jays could use some insurance. And Davis says nope. Fastball, 1 down. First out of the bottom of the 7th. This is the first game of 4 games against Tampa Bay, and you get a chance to see them tomorrow night. 7:07 start, then a couple of afternoon games. Great weekend of baseball here. Both Saturday and Sunday start at 1:07 p.m. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. You can log on to order your Blue Jay tickets at bluejays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Colby Erasmus waves at that first pitch breaking ball. Gets fisted on this inside fastball, and Luke Scott makes a nice running catch on the warning track. 2 quick outs for Wade Davis. Pitchers have had, excuse me, Pat, go ahead.
I was talking about Colby Rasmus and how pitchers have been trying to throw to him. Now they have challenged him inside with that fastball. They threw him a breaking ball first pitch because he loved to hit the fastball. Then Davis jams him with that speed. He's going to have to take some of those pitches and ride a couple out of the ballpark, I think, and pitchers will change on him.
Yeah, and even that last pitch is probably off the plate inside. So go ahead and take it and try to force him back over the plate. Well, you're right about Wade Davis. He's got one thing on his mind. That's just loading up with that fastball.
Yep.
And have to think about managing his energy for 95 to 100 pitches.
Yes, he's actually throwing his curveball harder this year. Well, that's pretty nasty right there. 92-mile-an-hour slider. And he's throwing that curveball a little bit more than last year. A little bit more frequently. It's a good combination.
One and two. Curveball and bounced in the dirt. We'd mentioned that the Rays have had Rookies come up for 4 straight seasons and win 10 or more games as starters. Neiman and Price in 2009. Wade Davis won 12 games as a starter in 2010. And here he works as a reliever very effectively. Comes into the 7th inning and strikes out a pair. Blue Jays go quietly in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. It's still a 2-0 game. To you by Toyota's 2012 factory event on now.
It's a good one. Tonight it's going to be Carlos Villanueva and his 6th straight strikeouts against the Tampa Bay Rays. And he did it with a different assortment of pitches. He used his changeup, he used his curveball, and he used his slider. And when batters started looking for that off-speed pitch, he'd paint him on the inside corner with that fastball. That ties a team record held by 3 other players. Carlos Villanueva, our Toyota play of the game.
How about that? You got 2 fill-in starters, if you will. Jay Happ and Villanueva. Trying to make an impression for next year, possibly bidding for a spot. And they have tied a franchise record for 6 consecutive strikeouts. It's making a pretty good first impression.
Yeah, that's making a statement.
Brad Lincoln comes on, his 41st appearance of the season. Darren Oliver with a great inning of work. He had a pair of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 7th. Now the right-hander Lincoln. We always talk about hitting being contagious. Do you think the pitching out of the bullpen has gotten contagious as they're trying to compete with one another?
Yeah, I definitely do. Each one of them trot out of that bullpen wanting to outdo their teammates. You see it a lot from starters as they stack it up night after night. Bullpen, I think, does the same thing.
Well, and they've changed the character dramatically down in that bullpen. Darren Oliver has been a real rock of granite, the veteran. But now you bring in another veteran in Brandon Lyon. Steve Delabar had his baseball career jeopardized by an arm injury and was out of the game. He was home playing softball. So he gets a second chance at his big league career, and he's going to relish every opportunity he has. So this is a pretty special group of guys down in their bullpen right now.
They've been a huge help in that pen with the young players. They think right along with the manager. So when they see the situation starting to crop up, they're ready. They're ready and they're willing and they're able to get into that ball game and do their thing.
Casey Jansen might be the best teammate on this team. I mean, he is literally pulling for everybody every moment. And he is very animated. He's a guy that really gets into the emotions of the game. Just exactly what a manager wants. 2-2. Cut on and missed another strikeout. Mathis goes to first as they finish off the strikeout, but Brad Lincoln racks up the strikeout. That's the first out of the 8th.
I think both of these teams can run some speed out of that bullpen. That is pretty nasty. Lincoln spins a pretty good breaking ball. He makes quick work of Lobaton. But the Rays, you mentioned their ERA, which is the best in the American League for relievers. Blue Jays can match them up right now.
John Farrell had a little bit of a talk with Brad Lincoln. He went through a rough spot after starting out throwing the ball very well against Seattle and Oakland, and ran into some of those horses in the East. They said, hey, don't try to throw at 96. You're best when you throw at 93. You get better command, you get better movement, and then your breaking ball is better. And it helped Brad a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think it helped keep him behind the baseball where he needs to be. It's a smooth, free and easy delivery, but you add that fastball with that breaking ball. It's pretty nasty combination. Now, if you're falling behind hitters and you're coming out of your delivery and you're overthrowing a little bit, you never have a chance to throw that breaking ball in a strikeout count.
Sam Fuld, the right fielder, is 0 for 2 so far in this game. There's that breaking ball. It got underneath and just spun outside the zone. '96 with a little late movement, but takes it off the outside corner.
Tough to take that one. That ball was darting away from Sam Fuld, and he's able to lay off of it.
Hits this ball high in the air into right. Sierra has plenty of room, and Fuld is retired. 2 down.
Save during the homeowner sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Blue Jays are holding on to a 2-0 lead over Tampa Bay. The Rays have owned the season series. They've won 9 of the first 11 games between these two ball clubs. Jennings had to bail out in a hurry.
That's one of those pitches where you try to overthrow. They want to go down and away, and it just doesn't come out right. And it dusts Jennings back. You can see where Jeff Mathis was set up. They wanted that ball away.
There's a good fastball down and away. Jeff Mathis making his 49th start. JP Arencibia was on the disabled list. He's in Florida, getting his strength back in that broken right hand. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin this team and get some playing time before the season is over.
Blue Jays are targeting about 10 or 11 days from now, right around September the 10th is when they think that Arencibia will be able to come back. In the meantime, they've got a veteran, Yorvik Torrealba, to help with the catching. And when the first part of September rolls around, you'll probably see Yan Gomes back here, a third catcher, when they expand the rosters.
There's a breaking ball, but there's Kelly Johnson at second, playing the pull. And Brad Lincoln has a very good inning. Blue Jays have retired 7 straight. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. pitchers have certainly owned the night tonight at Rogers Center. It's a 2-0 ball game. Only 11 hits in the game. It'll be the third Rays pitcher of the night, J.P. Howe, the left-hander.
Well, he has been good for Joe Maddon's team. Last worked 5 days ago, so he is well rested. They got plenty of arms down there. Howe's got a very good fastball, good overhand curveball. He's pitched in different spots in that bullpen for Madden over the years. Now he's a very good lefty specialist as they make their way towards the end of a ball game.
Adam Lynn will start things off against J.P. Howe. Late sinking fastball in there for a strike. Jeremy Hellickson on the right will start tomorrow night's game. Matt Moore on the left. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits and 2 earned runs, but right now he's looking at a loss. Popped up on the infield. Second baseman Jeff Keppinger makes the catch. 1 out. Rogers customers have more ways to catch Sportsnet's live coverage of the Blue Jays. Watch the action live all season from your smartphone. Download the Rogers Live app from your app store. Brandon Morrow will make his second start since returning off the disabled list. He injured himself on June 11th and came back and made his first start, and it was a good one against Baltimore. He came out for 4 2/3, 6 hits. He was charged with 4 runs. He retired the first 5 men he faced, including 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, the defense kind of let him down a little bit in that ball game. He pitched much better than his numbers show.
You know, Escobar made a pivotal error in the 3rd inning on a double play ball that helped the Orioles score a pair.
Some of his best games also, Morrow, in his major league career have come right here against Tampa Bay. So you got to tune in.
A 1-hit, 17 strikeout performance, and it was a 2-out single by Evan Longoria that kept him from a no-hitter. You know, Escobar has extended his hit streak to 8 games with a single tonight. Casey Jansen loosening up. He picked up his 17th save yesterday afternoon in New York against the Yankees. And he was thrilled to get that opportunity. He was charged with a blown save on Monday night when he gave up a solo home run to Derek Jeter. Three and 1 to Escobar.
Seeing the ball. He is really seeing the ball right now. You can just see the way he takes those pitches. That was a 2-1 breaking ball, and he didn't even flinch.
It's this ball past Keppinger into right field. His second hit of the night. Escobar is 2 for 3.
He's a type of hitter that when he is going well, everything he hits is hard and it finds a hole. This time stays with that 3-1 fastball, stays on top of that pitch away from him, and drives it into the outfield for another hit.
Kelly Johnson's had a good day. He is 2 for 3. Johnson has the only 2 RBIs of the game. Came way back in the 1st inning. Excuse me, that's 2-0. The second pitcher's upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. We're in the 8th inning. Carlos Villanueva with another good start tonight, in line for the win.
He's been throwing the ball well. J.P. Howe, he's trying to follow up Matt Moore and keep it a 2-run game. He's got the longest active scoreless streak by a reliever of Major League Baseball right now. Howe, 26 2/3 innings. Doing it by using that good breaking ball and spotting that fastball.
Johnson fights it off.
You know, you said it earlier that the starters for Tampa Bay have been sensational, but it's the relievers who have been out pitching them.
Yeah.
That's demoralizing for a ball club late in the game.
Well, everybody knew that Tampa Bay was going to have a pretty good bullpen. Nobody anticipated Fernando Rodney was going to be as dominant as he's been. And once Rodney got off to a great start, that had a dramatic domino effect backwards, if you will. Back to the setup guy and then the 7th inning guy. And they have really closed the door on games late.
Big arms out of that bullpen.
2 balls, 2 strikes. There goes Escobar. Johnson hits it on the ground. Keppinger stays with it, and now they're going to argue that that ball hit Escobar. Jim Joyce, the second base umpire, says, wait a minute now, and he's going to call. I didn't see any deflection, but Keppinger reacted immediately like that ball hit
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, what looked like he was going to field it where he bent over the baseball, but then he had to field it up high. And right away, after he recorded the out over at first base, he pointed to the runner and said, that ball hit Escobar.
It's so difficult on this artificial surface because you can see unusual hops all the time.
Yeah, if it
but
hits
that
a
ball
seam.
did take a funny hop. And the umpires, Jim Joyce is the crew chief, he immediately, and he's calling Escobar out for getting hit by that. Obviously, Escobar knows that the ball hit him. So Escobar will be out. Johnson will stay at first. It's not an at bat for Kelly Johnson, and Escobar is out for getting hit by the batted ball.
This should be able to tell it right here. He slows down. It did look like it might have hit off his leg somewhere. Yeah, ricocheting. You can see Keppinger was getting ready to field the ball in his normal 3-point stance, and that replay right there. No argument from Escobar or the Blue Jays.
And now Joe Madden with Moises Sierra, the scheduled batter, has called for the bullpen. J.P. Howe will be taken out. And we'll have this pitching change with 2 outs. Kirk Badenhaupt coming on. Pacific. The Boston Red Sox are in Anaheim to take on the Angels. It'll be John Lester for Boston against Zach Greinke for the Angels. The Angels are just 6 games over 500. They trail the front-running Texas Rangers by 9 games. And they are slowly fading out of the wild card race. The start of play tonight, they're 4.5 back in the AL wild card race.
And not pitching very well. Bert Badenhop will take over for the 57th time this year. Good numbers. 304 earned run average. When he's right, he's going to get a lot of sinkers. Comes from that 3/4 angle, sinks the fastball. He's got a little bit of a slider. He's got a very good earned run average since the start of May. Just over 2. Got off to a rough start this year. Getting it back on track.
Moises Sierra is 1 for 3. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays holding on to a 2-0 lead. They scored their 2 runs in the first inning. And the pitching has dominated since. Kelly Johnson with a 2-run double in the first with 2 outs. Tampa Bay comes this ball game 71-59. You look at the wild card race. Oakland and Baltimore have both won already this afternoon. Tampa Bay a game back in the wild card race. The Tigers 2.5 back. The Angels are 4 back. And it is a jammed up wild card picture right now.
Go all the way down to the last day of the regular season. You just know it. They might even have to play an extra game just to see who gets into the playoffs.
Well, we had such a great finish last year, and of course Tampa Bay won in extra innings and went to the postseason. Evan Longoria, dramatic home run in a game where the Yankees were home and chilled out. Looked like the game was over. But that came after the start of September when everybody said, well, too bad we're not going to have any pennant races.
Yeah, remember that? About this time a year ago?
Boston looked like they were a lock. Atlanta looked like they were a lock, and neither one of them got to the postseason. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kelly Johnson at first. Up and away. Full count, so Johnson will be off on the pitch. Luke Scott looking into the dugout, and he's been told to stay put right at first.
Yeah, you got to hold that runner on. You don't want to give him that big of an advantage. Jay's looking for an extra base hit here.
There goes the runner, and there's ball 4. Now Badenhop loses his first batter. Now Lobaton will go out to the mound. Joe Madden's team has already lost 4 1-0 games this month, and they're looking at a 2-0 deficit right now.
Looking on that score sheet, looking for some base hits.
Jeff Mathis has gone 0 for 2 with a walk.
You can see how Badenhop can really get some ground balls when he is on. He throws from that arm slot and really gets on the side of the ball. Drives it down.
Boy, that's a big sweeping breaking ball.
Right after a good fastball. He's inherited 29 runners this year coming in, and 9 of them have scored. Trying to keep that run. That's a big run at second base.
0-2, 2 outs, 2 on. Tampa Bay trying to keep it a 2-run game. Outside. Tampa Bay has the second best record in the month of August in the American League. They're 17-9. That being said, they've been shut out 5 times this month. They had 4 1-0 losses and a 4-0 loss. You just wonder if Tampa Bay is not checking the waiver wire, see if they can't come up with an extra bat down the stretch.
Yeah, another day to do that. Just try to find somebody who can help them offensively. They don't need a lot.
Strike 3 called. Mathis caught looking at strike 3. Badenhop gets out of it. Blue Jays leave a pair. Well, go to the 9th. In comes Casey Janssen looking for save number 18. 2-0 Jays. Casey Janssen picked up his 17th save in yesterday's game at New York. He closed out the 9th inning. He is on looking for number 18 here, his 50th appearance of the season.
Very determined yesterday with that fastball. Look at the whip, 0.79 for Janssen. He can elevate his fastball, I think, when he wants to. He's mixed in that curveball when he had to. And there's that elevated fastball. Right at the top of the strike zone, and Upton swings right through it.
Casey Janssen will come right at you. Quickly ahead 0-2. B.J. Upton's had success against Janssen. He's 5 for 12 with a homer. But right now, Casey has to come right after him.
Yep.
Make him hit his way on.
Maybe a high fastball right here, right at the letters.
Wow. Almost hit him, and you could see Mathis was setting up high in the zone. They wanted it upstairs.
Yeah, watch him. He wants the ball up, letter high, and Janssen lets go of it a little bit too early and almost hits him.
Perfect spot. He makes quick work of B.J. Upton, who turns and asks the umpire if it was down. It's a tough one to take with 2 strikes.
Especially with the late break and late movement that you see right here. Boom. Right on the corner. He gets a lot of speed, a lot of deception with that hard leg kick home.
Ben Zobrist cut her off the plate inside. Zobrist 1 for 2. He singled his last time up.
little bit tougher to face left-handers as opposed to right-handers. But Jansen this year has been better against the lefties. He's been using his cutter a little bit more against him. And he's been using the outside part of the plate, too.
Boy, he's making quality pitches. I mean, he's not leaving anything out over the plate, and he just got the inside corner and forced Zobrist to try to spoil a good pitch. There have been 21 strikeouts in this game. Pitchers have really had the upper hand all night. Zobrist golfs it into right, but that's a shallow fly ball and 2 down. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. Here's Ryan Leslie and Ivanka Osmet. Lots of news coming up right after this game on Connected, and Rays are down to their final out. Evan Longoria. Fly ball into right. This should do it. Sierra's there. The game is over. What a ball game for the Blue Jays. Casey Jansen picks up his 18th save of the season. The Blue Jays beat Tampa Bay 2-0 on just 7 hits. Kelly Johnson doing the damage. A 2-out, 2-run single in the first, and that stood up.
And it started with the starting pitching. That was Carlos Villanueva. 6 straight strikeouts at one point. He finishes with 7 strikeouts in 6 innings. Darren Oliver comes into the 7th. He was clean. He had 3 in a row, and then Lincoln 3 up, 3 down, and Casey Jansen finishes it off in the 9th, 3 up and 3 down. Great pitch ball game from both teams.
Blue Jays win the first of 4 against Tampa Bay. Carlos Villanueva improves to 7-4. Connected coming up. We'll see you tomorrow night.